Hey there, podcast listeners. Well, as you know, Megan and I both had to take off for the month of July, and we had every intention of having a new episode recorded so that we could celebrate our 1-year anniversary of posting these discussions of ours. However, that was not to be. So in the interim, we have been posting our, well, that's helpful resources. And we kind of ran out of them. So what I was thinking that we could do was to highlight several of the pages from our handy-dandy website over at www.postsecondary-transition.com as a placeholder. And that in about 2 weeks, we will have our new episode, new discussion recorded and posted for you guys to listen to. And we are excited to get that done. So in the interim, I am going to talk about 4 pages from the website that can be used as a resource for parents who are doing their research. And we think that they will be super helpful for you to use. So without further ado, when you go to postsecondary-transition.com, across the top of the web page, you are going to see tabs. And one of those tabs that I'm going to highlight is our certificate track page. You click on that link, and it's going to take you to what amounts to a tabbed browser of links that talks about things like ABLE accounts, DDA, DOORS, healthcare transition, Medicaid programs, things of that nature. It is essentially a collection of all of the resources that any parent who is doing their research can find helpful and useful. And just to give you an idea on our DDA tab, we have a DDA FAQ. We have a link that takes you to person-centered planning. There's also a button there that talks about the DDA eligibility. We also have a link there that will take you to the DDA eligibility review. Say that 5 times in a row really fast. We also have informational PowerPoints that will talk about the application process, Medicaid waivers information. So again, this is the page that you are going to go to that will give you all of the links around parents who have students who are on the certificate track. In other words, students who will not graduate with a high school diploma. And all of these resources are there for you on one page. Go check it out. It will be really helpful. All right, next up, we are going to have you navigate over to our adult agency snapshot. Now, this page is for someone who, in doing their research, is looking for information about adult agencies. Some of the resources that we've come up with is questions that you would ask providers about things like supported employment or day habilitation. And you can copy these right from the website, put them on a piece of paper. When you are doing your adult agency interviews, you can ask them these questions. It's not probably every question that you're going to want to ask, but it definitely is going to give you a starting place. Another thing is we have helpful resource links to places like Parents Place in Maryland, service coordination. Interestingly enough, the farther you scroll down the page, one other thing that we had was essentially an overview of just some of the adult agencies that are available at least here in Maryland. It's not all of them, but there is a button there that will take you to a link that does cover all of the agencies that are available here in Maryland. On our page, we've collected a group of them, and they are there for you to kind of peruse and see if any of it will be helpful for you. Now, just to be clear, though, that this page is not meant to endorse any business activity or group. It really is just a resource, and we think of it as being a really good place to start. Next up on the helpful resources list, we have a relatively new page, or at least a page that has seen a lot of changes to make the information a little more specific, a lot more useful. It talks about healthcare transition. Now, when we talk about healthcare transition, we're talking about moving someone from one healthcare setting or provider to another, and that can be very tricky. And so we feel like that this is a really good place to start to essentially figure out those questions that you want to ask. We highlight the key components of a healthcare transition, planning, education, communication, self-management, support. We have a load of online resources with links that you can do even more research into. So we feel like that those are going to be really, really helpful for parents who are going through this process. Towards the bottom of the page, you're going to find a healthcare timeline. Now, again, this is not going to be specific to everybody, but it'll definitely be a good start. It'll give you a good place to look at and, see how it applies to you and your life and your journey, and give you some more resources to help you clarify some of those challenging questions. All right. And last but not least, we're going to highlight our page on guardianship. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this out, because we have done an episode on guardianship. So I would encourage you to check out our podcast website, p2transition.com. You scroll through all the conversations that we have, but you will see something on guardianship that we did relatively recently. But the reason that I throw out our webpage is because this is another page that we have recently updated the information, made it a lot more user-friendly, and we feel like it'll be really helpful for parents. We have links to videos. We have, we give an overview, some of the benefits to guardianship, some of the downsides to guardianship, links to some of the guardianship forms. For our people in Maryland, we have a link to the Maryland courts page, and then separated out links that kind of walks you through that process. So we think that that'll be helpful for families. And then we have even more links to additional resources like supporteddecisionmaking.org, guardianship.org. So again, website that is designed and intended to be a starting point, a jumping off point for parents who maybe are starting to think about this process, and to give them good information, reliable information, and to be able to be helpful.
Please like, follow, and share out our podcasts. We want to reach as many people as possible. Also, check out our YouTube channel. We have videos of all our conversations, including doing some of the legwork for you by curating videos of topics that revolve around transition. We've created playlists that cover guardianship, the alternatives to guardianship, ABLE accounts, and still more to come. So be sure to subscribe there as well. And finally, check out our website, which is chock full of information around the transition process. You'll find our contact information there too. So make sure to go to www.postsecondarytransition.com.
We will catch up with everyone later.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.